Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Glad you could join me today. Today I am excited to share with you an experiment that I did. As the title says, you can probably guess what it is. I bought some silicone molds that you use with resin to make beads from, and I used the top coat polish that I have, which you use for your fingernails. And I tried it to see if it would harden, and it actually did. And it hardened well enough that I could make beads from it. Is it the same as UV resin? I'm not sure, but it definitely seems so to me. This is a little more squishy than I imagine that UV resin would be, but it is pretty stout. So it holds its shape, and it held up well. I cured it for 5 minutes under an LED light, and it worked. And I was very, very happy with the results. This, not so much. I let it sit too long, and so the glitter kind of fell to the bottom, which you can see here. And I just pretty much have clear and bubbles on top of that. And here it did the same. But if that's the look you're going for, just let it sit and all your glitter will go to one side. With the polish that I used anyway. It may not do that with UV resin. I'm not sure, haven't used it. But anyways, after doing these, I wanted to do it with clay. I have not seen anyone do it with clay, and I was curious as to why. So I did my little experiment with clay, and I baked it inside the mold, and it worked. And I cannot tell you how overjoyed I was when I got this out of the mold. I baked it for 30 minutes, and I was so happy. I took, and this mold was the easiest. I didn't care for this mold because the beads were so big. That's why I used it as my test piece. And I just took the clay and packed it down in there with my dotting tool as much as I could, and then baked it. It came out, and the sides were already shiny. That's what I was most happy about. The silicone makes it shiny, so there's no sanding or polishing needing to be done afterwards, which is amazing. And this one has some cracking. Just about all of them have some cracking, but I don't really care. It doesn't hurt the bead. It's very sturdy. It's not going to come apart. Like, it's solid. It's there. It has cracks in it, and it kind of gives it some character. If you don't like that, maybe coating it with a resin or UV resin, clear coat, something like that will fill them in and you won't notice them as much. Doesn't really bother me. So the next batch that I tried were these black and white ones here. I was very, very happy to unmold these. I made these to go along with this pendant that I made, and I did not video this. I really wish I would have, but sadly I didn't. But anyways, I made these beads to go along with it. I thought they would match perfect because I had, this is just the striped black and white clay that I had left over from making this that I used to make these beads. Now this mold worked very well. It's a faceted square, and it's shiny, as you can see. No sanding, no buffing done. It's shiny and beautiful. These do have small cracks in them. You cannot see them very easily because it's such a busy pattern. But the one thing that I do not like about this mold is that on one side, it's a very beautiful kind of beveled side where the hole is, and it matches up. It's kind of faceted to go along with the bead. But on the side that's open that you fill with, let me get this camera to act right. On the side that you fill, it's just flat and squared off, as you can see here, and I have this lip. So I do not like it for that reason. Even using this with resin, I think it would do the same thing. It's not going to be faceted and curved, you know, nice end on it like it is on this side. So I took one of these and I cut that side off flush with the lip that it had. And then I tried to cut the other side that was the smooth, kind of beveled, and it didn't work very well. But my next choice was to sand it. And I have not done it yet, but that's what I was going to do, was just sand this side off. Was just sand this side here off and sand this flat as well to match up. So, I mean, it would be usable to some extent. That's one option. Okay, so it worked with the clay. I was happy with it. Next, I mixed up some purple with some pearl, and I used these molds that I have here. This is the, I can never say this word right, so forgive me. Rondel. Anyways, it's the flattened round beads. That's what it is. And then these are just round beads. And again, I took the clay, rolled it into snakes and little balls, and just took my ball tool and squished it down in there. This isn't what I used. Let me find it. I didn't use this one. It was one of the bigger ones that I have. Oh, well. It might be over there where I worked at. But just a ball tool, and I took and just held the clay here. This is a little piece of scrap clay. Held the clay, squished it down in there until all of it was pretty packed and started coming out the top. And then I took and I would squish the mold around the clay to make sure that it was shaped correctly and I didn't distort the mold by pushing so much clay into it. Now, I have not taken these out of the mold. They have sat all day long. They were done last night before I went to bed. And I've let them set until I had time to make this video because I wanted to demold them with you guys. I'm super, super excited to see how these turned out. This one looks like it has some clay pushed into a different spot of them. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I'm looking at it. But anyways, I'm so excited to demold these and see how they turned out. So I'm just going to pull on it to release it and pop it right out. Oh my goodness. Look at that. So beautiful, so shiny, so perfect. Oh my God. Do you see that? Like I said, when you are pushing the different layers of clay in there, if you don't get them squished together, you know, perfectly or enough, it will make lines like cracks in it. But again, it's not very noticeable, and the bead is structurally sound. Here I have some, not cracks, well, I guess cracks, but again, it's just where I didn't get the clay pushed down all the way. I remember seeing this on the bottom. There was actually 2 of them that looked like that, and I can't see it now, probably because I've released the mold, but there were 2 that were like this, and I wasn't sure if it was just where an air pocket was, or an air pocket because of the clay wouldn't being pushed down. I imagine so, now that I think about it. But anyways, I think it'll be fine. You can even take and smear some clay in there to fill it in, smooth it out, and rebake it if you wanted to. And this side, all I have to do is just push through. I have a drill too that I can use, but my small drill isn't right here, and that's too big. I don't think I've got a toothpick. But anyways, just use your drill, put your hole through it. And the holes that are in these molds are about the size of a toothpick. It fits perfect. Put that, and I can sand this lip off to make it smooth like this, and perfect bead. I could not be more happy with these. They're just so gorgeous. Look at that shine. I have not found anywhere of anyone else making beads from clay with these silicone molds, and I'm not really sure why. I guess because it's, I don't know, time consuming a little bit, maybe difficult to get the clay in there, but God, why wouldn't you? See, this one is perfect on the end there. No, no air pockets. No, nothing on that one. It's gorgeous. And all I have to do is just sand that down and it will be perfect. And let me see. Got a little crack here. But other than that, there's no cracks. Gosh, I'm so happy with these. Cannot tell you how many beads I'm going to be making, because beads are expensive. If you are a clayer and you don't mess with beads, beads are expensive. This little dent right here, this is something that I would fill in and fix with some more clay. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can get it to where you can see. Okay, there you go. Come on, focus. Get it together. I would take and put a little piece of clay there and fill that in, rebake it. Make sure you put some glue, Bacon Bond, liquid clay, something there. And this chip here, I would fill that in too. Which, I mean, honestly, when you're beading these and it's up against your piece, you're not going to see this. You're really not. So you don't have to fill it. That's why I said I would fill this piece in here. But these cracks and stuff along here, I honestly don't think it's going to bother me, because you're not going to see it. You'll have it up against another bead, or your, like a spacer bead, your pendant that you've made. So you're not going to see these sides. You're just going to see the bead itself, you know, the outer ring, or whatever you want to call it. Oh my gosh. I cannot tell y'all how happy I am right now. And because I mixed in the mica, not mica, the pearl clay, which has mica in it, you get the color shift as if it was a mica shift from the different rolls of clay that I put in there and mashed together. So it really has this beautiful swirled dark light look to it. That's what I absolutely love about it. Okay, those are the squish circles. Squished rounds. Okay, and these are the round ones. Oh my gosh. These are going to be harder to get out, I think, because they're much bigger. But I think I'm still going to be happy with them. Oh yeah, these are difficult. Oh, these actually aren't round either. These are an oval round. Look at there. Okay, so yeah. Can't see it. I've got hair. Excuse my hair. You can see here where I didn't push it down enough around the piece, and you've got the lines and everything from the gaps. But still, cut or sand this off, this lip, and you've got a perfect bead. Do y'all see this? Oh my gosh. I do not understand why people have not done this before now. Anyways, you've seen it here. These are so perfect. Somewhat. You know what I mean. I'm very happy with them. I can say that much. I am very, very happy with them. See, here's another piece, or another bead with a kind of a chunk missing out of it. But still, it's such a quick fix, guys. Oh my gosh. Just smear some clay in there, bake it, done. Don't forget the glue. I keep saying that. But you gotta have glue, because some type of glue anyway. Raw clay doesn't stick to baked clay. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna do this for you guys. I'm gonna just chop this end off. Just like this. There, you've got a bead. You can chop this end off too to make it the same, round it off. That's the only downfall that I have for these, is the difference in one side to the next. I think I would just sand it down to be even with this side. But again, once it's up against another bead, you're not really going to be able to tell. You will be able to tell with these because it comes down to a point. So I would definitely sand this side to match this one, because you're not going to get this rounded end on this side. And you can see I filled the molds up and cut off the top that was coming out. Maybe I shouldn't fill them up so much next time. I'll try that. I was scared if I didn't fill them all the way up, though, it wasn't going to do right. So if I did do that, though, I'm going to have to, well, no, because it's still going to be flat. Even if I didn't fill it all the way up to have this lip, you can see it would still just be flat. It's not going to be rounded down to a point like this. I would have to do this myself manually. What to do? Maybe just cut or sand, you know, at an angle so that you just sand this around to a point. Maybe do that. I'll try that in a minute. Let me get this one out. They come out so easy too. Okay, let me sand this down. I'm going to use some 400 grit sandpaper and see if I can't sand it into a point like the other side. Not too bad. You'd have to angle it more to come to a point quicker than that. Yeah, you could sand it to get where you wanted, but that kind of defeats the whole purpose of making this quick and easy. And it's killing my fingers and hands to hold it in sand, but it's doable, definitely. I still think I would just like to sand off and make both sides flat. So let me try that. Okay, so I like this better. This is an option I would do. I would do this because I have a Dremel, which would make this a lot quicker and easier, and I also have a sander that you use on like wood and stuff. I've showed it in previous videos, but it just vibrates really fast, and if you stick this Velcro sandpaper to the top of it, it makes sanding go by very, very quick. So sanding the ends to get them both flat would be the way I went. I would do it also on these other pieces too, because it would work much quicker and much better. And after you've sanded it and gotten your flat edges, you could, you know, still coat this in your top coat of choice if you wanted to. Me personally, I think I would leave it because it's shiny and beautiful already. I will try one with the coat, putting the top coat on it though, just to see the difference. So I'll go do that real quick with the polish and the LED light that I have. It's across the table, so I don't want to drag it all over here. I've done it in previous videos as well. So I'm gonna go do this one like that real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and put 2-3 coats on this, and it sparkles a lot more. Definitely does. You can see the difference, I believe. Let me get this to act right. Okay, so there's the difference. You can see in the light, it definitely sparkles a lot more, brings out the shine. So yes, I will be coating them all before I use them with my clear coat. Alright, so these molds I got from Amazon. It was $16 for 12 different ones, and I think I found the one that is the round beads. So I'm going to make some of those up, and I will probably post them to my Instagram. I'm also going to post these on there. If you would like to follow me, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any of the next videos and all the ideas that I have coming up. and follow me on Instagram because I post there more than anything. Okay, excuse the mess. This is a completely different day, but I did find the round mold and I had to shoot this quick video to show you guys real quick that I found it. And it turned out great. I love the mica shifts that are in this. It's so gorgeous. The downfall to it, this is also it. I just got these out of the oven. I baked these last night before I went to bed, and I tried a different technique to get the rounded side for the other end, because you can tell that this side is flatter than this one. This one is a nice rounded, you know, I don't know, it's nice and rounded. But this is the top, and for this one, I poked the clay down more around the top part. And I should have taken a picture of this, but I really just wanted the bead finished. And I had a good divot right here. So I had to go back and fill it in with clay. And you can see the difference in the shiny clay that was on the silicone and the clay that I had to go back and put in and bake again a second time. It did turn out okay. I am happy with it, but I really wish that I could get this nice rounded part on both sides. I tried putting clay in here and putting it back in the mold to shape it that way. It didn't work. When I would take it, I took it out of the mold to look at it, and there was just clay smushed all up around here on the bead and everything, and this wasn't all filled in. So I just did this by hand and tried to shape it, round it the best that I could. So for this batch, what I did is I let it overflow, and I sliced it off, and that was it. I let it overflow again if it wanted to, and then I pressed it down a little bit around the middle part of that makes the hole. So we're going to demold these together and see how these went. Okay, still, once again, have some, I guess you could say air pockets or cracks, holes, whatever you want to call it. And it still put the lip on there. But I think that I could, I don't know, take my blade and cut it off if I kind of rest it at the angle that the bead is going, you know. I'm not sure, instead of just slicing it off flat. And there's a good crack going right here. If you can see it, let me see. Yeah, you can see. Got a kind of a good crack going. But it's shiny. There's no polishing or buffing needing to be done to it. That's the part that I love the most. Alright, so, woo, alright. This one cracked all the way through. You can tell I was pretty rough with the clay on this one. I was just trying, actually, I did these differently, so I won't do these again, but, oh, let me grab this. I used the end, you can see the red clay still on it. I used the end of this paintbrush to poke it down in there, and it didn't do a very good job. The paintbrush pushes the clay in all different kinds of directions, whereas the ball tool, when you put it in there, the clay kind of, it just has, you know, like the center point of the ball pushes down, and then everything comes up around it. I don't know, it works differently. It does different. It's hard to explain. I don't know how to explain it. I may just be full of crap, but that's what I think anyway. This one has a crack clearly all the way through it, so I'm just going to crack it open and make sure that the inside is baked. And it is. It's done. I baked these for an hour, so. But you see right here, the air pocket that I made trying to press all the clay in there with the paintbrush. So, won't be using that again. I was about to toss this, and then I had a thought. I think I could chop this up and use it for like sprinkles or something in a piece, or inclusions in a clay piece. So I might hold on to that. Alright, and this mold I did because I wanted to see the shape of it. I haven't used this one yet. But the bottom, oh goodness, is flat. You wouldn't think these would be that hard to get out. My God, they are. Alright. So, I think using the paintbrush again is why this one failed. As you see, I guess I poked too much clay in there, really. Because this side is rounded, and this side is like flat. Unless it's supposed to be like that, which, looking at it through here, it doesn't look like that's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a faceted bicone. Yeah, bicone, that's what it's called. Anyways, I'll, yeah, see, this didn't do very well. I'll just chop these up and use them in something one day. Because they didn't do very well. But at least it's not going completely to waste, I guess. Yeah, again, air pockets. I just got air pockets in it. Trying to push too much clay all at once, I guess. Probably the main issue there. Because this one I used mostly with the ball tool, and at the end I started with the paintbrush. So, live and you learn. Alright, let's finish the video up. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.